Hey guys, welcome to She Knows Arsenal. My name is Jessica and I'm your host. You can follow me on Twitter at itsjessinho, and this is the live match reaction for Arsenal 2, Leicester nil. We beat Leicester away from home, and I can't even lie to you. I was very, very, very scared that entire game. Look, I know what the narrative is going to be around this match. Leicester did come back into the game, which is what you expect in the second half. You would expect them to play better um, once they went down by 2-0. But we deserved that win. Like, we deserved it. The narratives are always going to be there about how, we fell off and this and that. Leicester is one of the best teams in the league. Besides the top 3 teams that are there, Leicester is right there and about the next best teams in the league. And so you were never going to expect them to never touch the ball, to never have chances, you did not expect Brendan Rodgers not to make changes, but ultimately everything that we did to counteract what they were doing worked. And one of the biggest differentiators in this game for me was obviously Aaron Ramsdale, but the connection of our back 5 and them stepping up and realizing that even though this is going to be a tough game and some of our midfielders and forwards got tired, they still stuck it out. And that defensive solidity that we've been seeing since the Norwich game has been getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's how you win matches. So, I saw some weird comments about we're not a good team because we don't batter every single team and get 4 or 5 goals up. That the Premier League is too difficult of a league, and we are not Liverpool or Man City. And quite frankly, they don't even batter every single team. This is how you win games in the Premier League. You come out, you're intense, you're organized, your coach makes changes when necessary, and you stick it out and you get the points and you walk away. And as good as the Aston Villa performance was for me, this was a bigger litmus test of kind of where we are away from home against a very good manager, a very good team that matches up really well to us. And even though they did come out in the second half and batter us, I think after we weathered that storm, we got some more control over the game. And I can't be any happier. Waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning is not easy watching the Arsenal. And today they made it worthwhile. I think there's a lot of really good individual performances to talk about. I think Arteta performed quite well today. And yeah, I mean, what are you guys thinking? Let's see. Harris says amazing result. Don one said, come on, you Gunners. Demetrio says, hey, Jessica, hey to you as well. Usopp's Rubber Band says, White Gabrielle combo is becoming one of the best in the game. It's been showing signs since they started playing together. And as much as I feel like there's a reluctancy or maybe just a downright like negativity towards, this back line, like if you had any questions on Ramsdale, those can go out the window. And even with Ben White, he made some mistakes today, but like newsflash, players make mistakes throughout the game, but I think ultimately he was really, really solid today. And Gabrielle was an absolute monster today. I mean, if Ramsdale hadn't made some of the saves that he made, I think Gabrielle is definitely the man of the match because he scores a goal. And I mean, he was just a defensive monster today. And that's what you need. I mean, we went through years and years and years of the Mustafis and the Socrateses and these guys that just weren't really that good. And to see a back line that really goes together, works hard together, and gets clean sheets together is amazing. This is another clean sheet. And the funny part about it is after, the Athletic had come out with that report on the teams that had the best defenses in terms of goals scored against and clean sheets, it was actually meant to make fun of Manchester United, but Arsenal were at the top of that. And I saw a lot of, well, it was against Burnley, it was against Wimbledon, it was against Norwich. And that doesn't matter. Like, that actually doesn't matter. Like, getting clean sheets in this league is difficult because of the caliber of competition. And I would say that against Leicester City, a team that most rival fans, outside of even Arsenal fans, probably think is a better team than us. And to be fair, based on where they finished in the last 2 seasons, you could probably say that that's true. to get a clean sheet against them away from home. Vardy, Iheanacho, Madison, Tielemans. I mean, these guys were on form, so I think that just speaks to the solidity and the balance and the positivity surrounding that back five, which for me has been the best part of the season is watching them grow together. Even adding Nuno in there hasn't really kept them from having that solidity, and that's just is great. Let's see. Cliff says Ramsdale, England number one. I think he's coming for that spot. I mean, I think when he said that he was going to rip the shirt off of Leno's back, he was probably also talking about Pickford. And at this point, for me, I think it's only a matter of time before he has that number. I mean, he's probably the best goalkeeper like England has, in my opinion. I mean, is there anybody else really close? So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Don One says, Arteta, my manager. Arteta had a very good performance today. Brendan Rodgers is no slouch. I know that people call him a bottler and all of this, but he is no slouch as a manager. And he made changes at halftime. I think some of them we knew were going to happen. He had basically Barnes keeping the width and Lookman dropping in between the lines. They were a lot more effective in the second half. And Arteta did react to that. He didn't leave Lacazette in too long. He took him out. He brought in Odegaard so that we can get control over the midfield. He made some really good changes. Even Pepe towards the end, I thought, was a good change. And that's when he's most effective, in my opinion, is coming off of the bench late in matches. Let's see. Royal says that's a proper away performance. Exactly. And that's the thing. It's away from home at Leicester. Leicester is no slouch. Away from home is very difficult. And regardless to how it looked, if it was, it wasn't clean, but they were going to come into that game and slowly build into it. They were at home and they were asleep, and we took advantage of that. There's been so many times in the past where teams have been sloppy and bad, against us in the beginning, and we allowed them to get it together before we scored goals. We scored 2 goals and put the game kind of out of reach for them because we're so good defensively. And they still had good chances, but in the end of the day, like, I think what kind of irritates me a little bit is that people are acting like they miss wide open chances. Our pressure on the shooter, are cutting off of angles, us putting some of those players on their bad foot, made it more difficult for them to get clean shots off and made them miss. So it all goes in with the defense. And, in the end of the day, for me, it's just kind of like that's what you want to see from an away performance, like you said. Solid, exactly, Matt G. Tell you what, that Ramsdale ad is pretty decent. Yeah, for sure. And I think at this point, I can understand why people had some reluctancy or like they weren't really feeling the Ramsdale thing because we needed midfielders, we needed this, we needed that, and we're going after a backup goalkeeper. But if you had read at all what I know there's reports that came out in the Athletic and in Football London that were basically saying he's not going to be a backup. It's basically the same thing we did when Czech was here. We bought Leno, and he was always going to be the number one, you know. And if you were, I get that, he gets relegated, and it is what it is, and maybe he doesn't look like a great goalkeeper. But at this point, we can just kind of put that behind us. He's our number one goalkeeper. He's performing really well. If you weren't on board with it and you're on board with it now, it's fine. Put it behind. He's a great goalkeeper. Io says they didn't batter us. I think they did towards the beginning of the second half, to be honest. Sean says, good morning, Jess. Good morning to you as well. Matt G says, appreciate you getting up so early and bringing us your thoughts. Of course, I'm always going to be here after the match. I mean, you guys, I'm not going to lie. I was very much so screaming at the TV. Like, I just wanted us to keep the ball in that second half. I'm going to read some more of your comments, and we'll see who shows up. Soul says he's coming. I don't know where Harry is, and I don't know where George is. So we're just going to keep going. Ref gave them every Ricky tacky foul. It was 12 versus 11, and we still won. I mean, that's true. Personally, for me, I felt like Johnny Evans deserved a yellow for kicking out at Ramsdale. And then had he had that yellow, he wouldn't have been able to sling Aubameyang down as the last man. I thought he was very, very lucky. And another referee may have seen that differently. But in the end of the day, we didn't have to count on referee calls because we had already kind of done what we were supposed to do. Bjorn says, I really like how Leicester played, but I'm happy for the win. Yeah, I mean, Leicester is a good team, and they've been under Brendan Rodgers for a while, and they've been building that team for a while, so you would expect them to be strong and you would expect them to make changes. They play good football, but we were the better team. I think we deserve to win. Um, let's see. Alfred says class act. Yo-Yo says Arteta, Adu were fully justified to upgrade the back line. The last two results weren't possible with last season's defense. It's a really good point. And as much as I know Arsenal fans they want to see free flowing attacking football, but one of our biggest, hindrances over the last maybe 5, 6, 7 years is the fact that we just didn't have a defense that could compete in the league. And at the very least, it's balanced and the pieces make sense. I do think that the three that are most solid at the moment for me are Ramsdale and Gabrielle and White. With Tomiyasu, I still think he's coming into it. I think sometimes he looks really strong and other times he looks like he's a little bit off, and in possession, I think Tomiyasu could be better. Um, and then there's Nuno/Tierney. We know Tierney is our best left back. I would hope that we would know that, and I see a lot of, well, look at what Nuno is doing. I don't know if you guys remember, but Tierney was, when we were horrible, him and Saka were pretty much our only options, and Tierney has ran his butt off for this club for the last like 3 seasons or 3 years. So I'm a little bit reluctant to just give the spot to Nuno. That being said, Nuno Tavares in that first half was so, so good. And his runs in the interior were very, very dangerous in those first like 20 to 30 minutes. And he also defended quite well today. So I don't want to take anything away from him. I want to be a little bit, I don't want to jump the gun, on the whole Nuno thing, but great recruitment, great recruitment, good recruitment, you know. And I was very critical of Adu over the summer, but I have to say, like, early signs of the, recruitment has looked pretty decent. I mean, even Odegaard coming off of the bench, I think he did exactly what we needed in that match, which was to get control over the game, and he did that, and he did that quite well. And so, yeah, kudos to them. Kudos to them. I can't complain. Give me 1 second, you guys. We're going to go through our winners and our losers in just a second. Let's see. Nashville says Nuno being two-footed really makes us less predictable up the left. That's very, very true. That's something that Tierney doesn't have. Like, he has probably a better left foot in terms of his delivery and stuff like that. But Nuno has 2 feet. And I think if you wanted to use him on the right, you probably could. If you wanted to play a back three and play him as a wing back, you could. And he's just kind of like a multi-use kind of tool, and a good one at that. Some utility players are they can do a lot, but not well. He can do a lot pretty well, so there's that. Nashville says Xhaka walks back in Matt G. So you guys are talking to each other. Malik says, how good is the partnership looking between Gabby and White with Saliba coming back? Wow. Yeah, for me, like, as much as I love Saliba, I'm trying not to think about him too much because I don't know what the future really holds. I don't think what Arteta said in the past week gives you any indication of what's going to happen on one way or another, if he's going to come back in or if something else is going to happen. But in the immediate, when I'm watching Gabrielle and White, I just think that's what we're looking for. Okay, let's see. Io's here. Hey.
Yo.
So you don't think we got battered in the beginning of the second half?
No.
Okay, you weren't watching.
No.
No,
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, all right, cool. No, battered is far too strong.
See, now you're gone. Now I can't hear you. You guys, we can't hear Io, can we? We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Go out and come back in. Colby says, it's good to have the competition for spots. I think it will help push KT. I think he is. Go out and come back in. I think with Kieran Tierney, I think he will come up to that competition. I don't think he's the type that will sit around and sulk because somebody else is playing well in his position. And this is why we got Nuno, was to come in and step in for Tierney. So I mean, it's nice to see. Nashville says Nuno being two-footed. Yep, you already read that out. Let's see. Matt G says Souls is on the football terrace with Terry. He's cheating on you. Well, I know he was there because he told me, but he wants to go there and gloat first. And I'm not going to lie, I will be there on Monday to gloat as well. So I will allow him to go over there. Colby says Nuno is a better wing back than an outright left back. And that's very, very true. I think Tierney is more of a fullback / even a left-sided center back. Nuno is a wing back. So he's more exciting because he's always going to go more forward and all of that. But Tierney also goes forward. I think it's a little bit of recency bias, and I'm very reluctant to go very hard into the Tavares should be starting over Tierney thing. At the moment, it's nice to have a somebody that can step up and do the job. Yo-Yo says Arteta and Adu, the defense, are my winners. Honorable mentions to Sambi and Party. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to bring in Souls. Hey, Souls.
Yeah, I see in the comments, I'm not cheating on anyone. I've been here for like the past 3 weeks. I just thought I'd had to make an appearance.
Oh, yeah. This is a good time to make an appearance. But let's start off with, who are your winners today? Do you have like anybody that, I mean, I know it's like you could, but who do you think had like, who's your winner
easiest
today?
one? Ramsdale's the easiest one. But
Yeah.
you know what? Like, because we know that's so obvious. I like to give my winner to someone who may be not as obvious. And I would say Gabriel for me. He was immense. Like, this is what we've been waiting for. And I think even like I had doubts. I was starting to get doubts about Arteta and like, is he going to get this right? But since the introduction of all or most of his players, we've looked phenomenal. And Gabriel again today. And don't forget, Ben White was ill. Like he was apparently had a stomach bug, which does take a lot out of you. And they were phenomenal together with Ramsdale keeping that out. They had enough opportunities to score. And Gabriel, not even his tackle, but when he tackles, he springboards attacks just like Ben White. And that's something I never thought I'd see Gabriel do. One of his sort of, I'd say, lesser qualities was playing out at the back. I'm not saying he couldn't do anything, but he wasn't really the most comfortable. And this year he looks dominant, but he's also playing well out of the back as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think you could give it to anybody in that back five today. I think Gabrielle, oh my gosh, that guy, he has gotten so much better. And I think he got a lot of value from playing with David Luiz last season. And I know David Luiz, it seems like he's a clown and all of that, but he has immense experience. And I thought when him and Gabrielle played together last season, they were really good. It seems like Gabrielle has taken some of that leadership from David Luiz, and now he's the leader back there. And Ben White is more of our ball progressor. But Gabrielle can also pass out of the back, which is really good. But he makes such good decisions and keeps us honest. Like that guy, he's so good. And Ramsdale as well. And Tomiyasu, I think, had a good game, but I still think he's adapting. And I think it'll take him some more time, which is perfectly fine. But for you, when you look at Nuno play and the way that he plays versus the way that Tierney plays, do you feel like we're jumping the gun a little bit on the Nuno should be the next left back over Tierney? Is there a little bit of recency bias? Where do you kind of sit on that whole thing? Because I love Kieran Tierney, and I'm a little bit afraid to just kind of be like, he should just be shunted off because Nuno had 2 good games. Very good games, but 2 good games.
I think I'm a bit 50. Well, I'm not 50-50 in that way, but I'm 50-50 in a sense of if Tierney's fit, he does what Tavares does, but better. But when he starts to get into that sort of 8th game or the 7th game, he's got that. I mean, I don't know why it is, but it seems to be after like 5-6 games, he starts to that injury creeps back, and he seems to start doing less and less. Obviously, Tavares so far, he's played, 3 games or something, and he's done that 100% of the times, going up, down, defending, attacking, and everything. And that's what Kieran Tierney used to do. He used to attack the ball, and he'd be back in time. And I think it is a bit of recency bias, and I think it's also the fact that we know what Tierney can bring us. It's probably 4 solid games, and if we don't rest him, then he's going to have this where you'd either have to focus on defending or helping us in attack, and then he'll get his injury. So I just think it's one of those. It's a weird one, and I don't know if that is completely the case. I could be wrong in terms of thinking he's getting an injury, but it seems to be the case again. He's injured now. He's not been in the squad, and clearly there's something that's going on, whether it's a muscle injury or whether it's just the fact that he is very fatigued. He had the Euros, he plays in the international friendlies, and then he plays for us as well, and his demands aren't any less. It's not like when he goes to the national team, they're not expecting him to do less for them or something, or he's on the bench and Robertson's the one playing. It's the same. You're playing every single game. You're the captain of the club, and obviously we're expecting him to come to Arsenal, be the leader as well. Even though he's not got the armband, he's the non-armband captain for us, and we're expecting him to bomb up and down because the left-hand side is predominantly where we attack, and we want the overlapping on that side. So when he does get that fatigue-y side of his game, that's when he starts to drop back a little bit, and I think that's all it is for me.
Okay, so I think, yeah, the defense, but we have to talk about Thomas Partey.
Can I just make a quick point real quick, Jess, on Tierney? Is that okay?
Go ahead. Try to move to the next thing, and you're going to try to go back. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to say, just remember that with Tierney, when we got him, he was injured, if you remember, and what I just really wanted to say is that he is the sort of player that is the reason why Tavares was bought. Like, I didn't understand it. Remember, we were all screaming, we need a right back. We need a right back. We don't need someone for... But I realize now that Arteta, the backroom staff, they've realized that Tierney's the sort of player, like you said, he can't play more than, say, 5-6 games without being in the red zone.
Yeah.
So I can't hate on him because you can't stop how your body is, but ultimately it's going to be that Tavares Tierney split between the LB position or LWB, whatever. Sorry, that's the only point I want to make.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair, and that's them learning their lessons, because not to bring up old shit, but let's be real, Tierney's injury kind of deteriorated the back end of last season, so it hurt us badly, and if we had Tavares, who knows what would have happened. But we got to talk about Thomas Partey, because let's be real. Like, the thing about Leicester is that they're a very good team. They just are, so I never was under the impression that they were not going to get any chances. I was never under the impression that we wouldn't be under pressure at some point. And I thought the midfield battle was going to be where the game was won and lost. They have Tielemans, Soumare, who I thought he was okay. He really came into it in the second half, and so did Tielemans. Tielemans was still very good for them. And of course, Maddison. We had Thomas, Sambi, and Lacazette kind of / ESR. But I thought Thomas really made Soumare and Tielemans look shit in that first half. I thought he dominated that midfield battle, and that's why you pay the 45 M's for him. That's why you go to Atletico Madrid with a briefcase full of cash and say, we're taking your guy, because he needs to be winning that battle for us. And I do think at the beginning of the second half, we were under pressure because Brendan Rodgers made changes and we needed to adjust. But then once we brought in Odegaard, it was like we got control over it again. And he looks in shape. He looks like he can go 90 minutes now, which he couldn't do last season. And I'm loving it. And I think he's doing a good job kind of mentoring Sambi on the job, because I think even Sambi is playing a lot better with Thomas. He's keeping him in his spot, and Sambi's learning quickly. So what did you guys think about the midfield performance against a very good midfield? Let's not get it twisted. Tielemans, Soumare, and Maddison. So that's one of the best midfields in the league. How do you think we fared against them? Good, right? Either one of you.
Yeah, no, I thought we did really well. I don't know. I think our midfield had a good game, but I would also say they didn't perform to their usual high standards, in my opinion. They really did struggle to try and create opportunities and open us up and pull us out of position. And I know I saw a tweet where you said, it's dangerous with us going 4-4-2 and sitting back when we did, bit of a low block. But they still didn't really have much answers for it. So I felt like their midfield underperformed today. Partey, yep, He definitely was on job for sure. Sambi as well. He's coming along nicely. Distributes well. Always forward thinking. Always looking for the forward pass. And yeah, gets stuck in. I think he had a few cheeky shots as well. Thomas had one shot that he did. I think it was in the first half. And if he had just struck it more sweet, it would have just gone in. It just, it got on my nerves because he hit it, but it was just too easy for Schmeichel to save. And I know Thomas has got that in his locker. I can't wait for him to unleash that. And then that would be like a real rounding off of his skill set once he starts scoring those. You know, every time you're at the Emirates, everyone's going, shoot. Everyone knows he's got it in his locker. So can't wait to see that.
The one thing I do want to say really quick before I let Souls go is I think this is an important point. Don Juan said it. We made them underperform. Eddie said it. Let's not say they underperform. We nullified them. Every game that we have where we play really well, the narrative is that, well, they just didn't play well. They didn't play well because we nullified them. I think us coming out with the intensity and just kind of kicking them off the park and really just killing them off in the beginning when they probably thought that they could just kind of waltz into the game and start playing their game. I think it's a little bit of maybe them not playing up to the standard, but I wouldn't give them like that was all them. I think some of it was just us playing really well. I mean,
but it wasn't like we were pressing them hard though, were we?
Were we pressing them hard? I thought we were. I think we're blocking off their passing lanes. I mean, but this is the thing. This has happened 3 times in a row now. When we played Spurs off the park, it was just they had a bad game. We played Aston Villa off the park. They had a bad game. We played Leicester off the park in that first half. They had a bad game. At some point, we need to give ourselves some credit. And I'm sorry, like we nullified
I'm talking
them.
about the midfielders, though. I'm talking about the midfielders. I'm not talking about the entire team. What I'm saying is I expected a bit more from their midfield, but they looked like they were devoid of answers. That's basically what I'm saying.
Souls, what do you think? Do you think it was they were just crap, or do you think we had something to do with them playing crap?
No, I think they played well. They controlled majority of the game. The problem, I think what we as fans sometimes get into is we need to control the full 90 minutes, otherwise they haven't controlled the game. I think bar maybe 10 to 20 minutes of that game where I don't want to say we let them back into it, but we do this. We kind of sit back, we conserve our energy, and then we go again, because that's exactly what happened in the second half. I'd say 50 to 70 minutes, we didn't really do a lot in terms of we allowed them kind of to get those chances. We started to defend a little bit more. And in terms of Partey and Lokonga, like I'm the first to admit I was wrong that they couldn't play this season together, because I just thought the way Arteta wants to play, Lokonga can't do it, and I don't want Partey doing that role. And that's hence why I said I don't know if they can work. But clearly Arteta's thinking different. He needs to deploy them in a different way. And in terms of how they were, I think Lacazette massively helped them. And in terms of initiating presses, and that allowed Aubameyang to then press. And I think with Partey, he was dominant. The thing is, I think what happens is because Partey didn't make an incredible pass, or you didn't do an over-the-top ball that got you off your chairs and go, what a ball that was. We think they did poorly. I always call it the Busquets effect, because Busquets, what he does is the silent key to unlocking what you need. And that's what I thought Partey was. He was silently there, just doing his job, controlling that game. Any ball that came in, he intercepted. He was dominant. His presence was there. He made it known to Tielemans, Samari, that, look, I am here, and Thomas as well. I am here. Every time they tried to turn and make a pass, Partey's there to clap them. Like he clapped them one, and he goes, "Look, I am here. You're not going to do anything." And that went very, very under the radar. I think he was arguably top 3 players today in terms of performance and how key he was as an individual. Lokonga, I would say, had the quieter game today in terms of I don't think he did as well as we wanted him to do. But I can't fault Partey's performance. He was definitely the senior player we wanted, and they all stepped up. The senior players today definitely stepped up today.
And not to mention, Thomas is still playing out of position. I think people don't, he's not a 6, but he's playing deeper to help out Sambi. And they play a lot closer together, and they kind of switch positions, but ultimately Thomas sits more deeper because he's the more reliable of the two. And he's still doing well. You just can't put Odegaard next to him like that. That's just, we learned that. But Sambi next to him is just fine. And I think our midfield was great. And just moving up the pitch, people are talking about ESR. And I think ESR, like, he's still finding his feet in terms of final balls. I know there was one late in the game where I'm thinking he did all the hard work, and if he had just got the right pass, we would have been off. But he was still really effective. He got a goal. I think he's getting his end product there. And I mean, people were talking about he needs to add end product. I mean, the guy is he's showing up every single game, so he's bound for that England call up. But what did you think about ESR's performance? It may have not been as
So
rounded
what? I'm
as it
gonna
was
have to
against
give you
Villa,
gonna
but
have to give me a sec. I've got a family emergency. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be
okay,
back
come
1 sec.
back. All right, come back. Souls, what did you think about ESR?
Yeah, I thought he was phenomenal. The same kind of attributes we kind of linked to Jack Grealish in a way. And I'm not saying, before people get onto me, I'm not saying he's as good as Jack Grealish. He's still got a long way to go until he can like really get to that level. But for me personally, I think his drives were powerful. He had the pace, full 90 minutes. And the thing is, he's pressing from the front. He's initiating it again. He's taking control of his side of the pitch. He's helping out in defense, linking up very, very well with Tavares as well. I think that partnership down the left with Sambi is very good. And I think they found something there. When Xhaka is not around, then that's what you've got to play, because Sambi can't cover for Tierney when he goes up. But I think Tavares is just a little bit more conservative in terms of how he goes up. And then when you look at ESR complimenting him, and the goal as well, it's a gamble, but he ran into the box. And this is something which we've been begging for, is more of our sort of midfield players or the deeper players, not your strikers per se, to come in and get goals, because he is playing on the left-hand side of our midfield or our attack. And he's come in deep, and he's cut in, and he saw the opportunity from Lacazette, and obviously just whacked one in, and he's adding goals to his game. As much as his final delivery may not be good, his corners, for example, have massively, massively improved. And that's how we got our first goal, for example. May not be directly off of his ball. It might have, like, I think it touched someone and then it went to. But point being, Partey scored off of that. His deliveries have been very dangerous. And I can't remember the last time we've been good at like set pieces or dead ball situations. And all of a sudden, even our free kicks are looking dangerous, and that's exactly what I want to see from ESR. As much as, yes, there's going to be faults in his game. He's 21 or something, 2021. There's going to be things that we're going to look at and go, oh yeah, but this could improve. Yeah, that's going to happen. He's a young player, and I think if we're nitpicking that, then I want to overhype his fact that he is finishing this season, which he wasn't able to do last season. His corners and set pieces are immensely improved. That's why I don't want to look at the one thing where, okay, 1 or 2 balls could have been better, but even your best players do that sometimes. So
yeah, he's still quite young. I mean, I'm just pleased he's adding goals to his diet, because that's what we need. We need goals from midfield. You know, we can't just rely. No quality team just relies on their front line to score goals. You know, none. And yeah, it's just pleasing to see that he's scoring and he's getting used to score. We just need Saka. We just need Saka stepping up on the goals as well. I know he can do it, and he's getting into the right positions. You saw a couple of chances today. But yeah, we just need something to click with Saka, and to have Saka scoring, firing. You know, we're getting goals from set pieces, fam.
Finally.
Set pieces. You know, can you imagine? I had to pinch myself. Like, we are getting goals from set pieces, ESR. We're getting spoiled out here. Like, ESR.
Oh yeah, even Aubameyang. If it wasn't just for that on the line save, it would have been a second set piece goal.
Yeah, there you go. Like, this is what we need. Like, for me, this is all we need to see to get into Europe, and that's all I care about.
The one thing I will say is that I think when Saka was really on form, ESR was just a little bit peripheral. And now that ESR is stepping up, Saka is a little bit peripheral. And you kind of have to take the rough with the smooth, I think, with the young players, because we want them all playing at 100% at the same time. And I don't think you're going to get that when they're developing. I'm personally not worried about Bukayo. You know, he's still getting in good positions, and he just needs to play himself into form. There will be a moment deep in the season where he's scoring the goals and maybe ESR goes off of the boil. But I'm not really that worried about him just yet. And I still think he had a decent game. Definitely not 100%. He needs to figure out when to use his right and when to use his left, when to cut it in on his left. But I thought he was just fine. And it's just, I think it's kind of like that thing that, we always talk about, Souls, where ESR looks so good, so then Saka looks worse. But I think if we rewatch the game, Saka actually wasn't that bad. And had he had just maybe a little touch here, a little touch there, he might have had a goal or an assist. So I'm not quite worried about Saka yet. We have to remember he came into the team and was really playing and really carrying us for a long time before ESR started to look the way he looks now. So we have to kind of give him a moment. But, are either of you guys worried about Saka or
No, I thought he had a
no?
solid game. Like I
Yeah, I thought he
literally
was
thought he had a
fine.
solid game. I just thought he was just unfortunate not to get on the score sheet. But I thought he had a solid. Yeah, he had a decent game. It was decent.
Yeah,
I
for
just
sure.
I just think it'll come because the first sign of someone getting goals added to their game is if they're in the correct positions. And I think he is getting opportunities. He just needs to. I don't know whether it's a composure or whether he's just needing to improve his finishing. For me, I've always seen it as a composure thing. I think he does rush his shots sometimes, but that'll come. I think it's just an experience thing. Even with ESR, for example, he was getting into positions, and because obviously ESR has naturally been two-footed, I think he's just always had it in him to score goals. Whereas with Saka's improved on his weaker foot this season. I don't know whether he had a right foot in the youth academy, but since he's been in the Premier League, I've not seen it be so good as it has been this season. And I think as long as he doesn't rush his shots and doesn't rush his opportunities, the goals will come.
Yeah, but we've seen Lacazette Saul's rushy shots. So
Exactly, yeah. So
you know
that's
what
what I mean. It will come. It's just that composure. Just calm it
Yeah,
down. And I think I'm not going to say it's a confidence thing, but with goals, once you get your one, it just comes, and then you're like, oh yeah, this is how I need to do it. And I think we do forget, because of how. Do you know what the mad thing is? It's his 100th game. I swear
yeah.
he
Oh
had his
yeah,
debut like
yeah,
yesterday, fam. Like
yeah.
this
Oh my
guy only just
goodness.
came onto the scene
We've
and he's
been
already played 100.
we've been using him like
Yeah.
literally Arteta.
I remember his
Arteta.
debut. Like I remember it like it was yesterday, and I was like, because someone put it up today, like 100 games. Seriously, I can't. And that's mad. But that's what I mean. Like, look, he's very, very young. Regardless of how many games he's played, we forget because of how good he's been. And then, like I said, I just don't want to nitpick on the little things because he's doing everything else well.
Like,
Yeah,
wasn't it the Palace game we thought we were gonna arrest him and he still played him?
Yeah, man.
yeah. He's just, but he has that kind of stamina. Like he's very, like he's that guy. Even when he's not 100%, I still think that he adds things. And see, Wilder says it best. I think like Laka, Saka still offers stuff when he's not scoring.
Yeah.
That we desperately need right now. We don't have it in our team. And just to touch quickly on Lacazette and Aubameyang, I do think that at the beginning of the second half, they were giving me old man vibes. I was very much like, are these guys gonna make it through the game? Like, they're looking a little slow. But Arteta made the right decision by subbing Lacazette, I think, earlier, sooner rather than later. But they put in a shift early on and they were starting the press and putting Leicester under pressure and all of those things that they were supposed to do. And so I have no fault with the way that they played. I think Aubameyang deserved a goal today. I think he could have gotten one. He had a nice volley like on the line where that could have easily been an assist, and then he could have easily had a goal as well. And I think he worked hard. So kudos to them. Like I really don't have anything bad
Did
to
you
say
see
about
that
the two of
cross,
them.
that like first time cross, like on a volley that he did? If
Yeah,
Evans
that's
didn't
what I was
get that,
talking
oh man, that was
was naughty.
incredible.
That was naughty. But the thing about Aubameyang today, I felt like large spells of the game, he was quite deep, and I didn't really understand why. Maybe you can enlighten me, but why he was so deep, and it just was a little bit like he should have been a bit more advanced. But what I will say is he's completely revolutionized his sort of desire to press, and I'm not surprised they were both tired because they were pressing like beasts out there. Totally. Like I don't think any of the team pressed as consistently as Aubameyang and Lacazette, in my opinion. I mean, don't know like if you guys think differently, but I just love how seriously they take it now. It's like they've almost been watching like endless clips of Liverpool, and it's just clicked in their head that if they want to get into anywhere near European spot, they have to press.
Well, we need them. We need them badly because we don't score enough goals. And Lacazette does. I think the thing about Lacazette is he does the things that Aubameyang has been trying to do, but maybe just missing the mark just a little bit with the dropping deep and collecting the ball and that kind of stuff. And when you have Laka doing that, and because he's so physical and aggressive, Odegaard can't do that. Odegaard is not going to be the one getting in the mix. So it gives us something good. And when they're close together, they really work good together. Today, it wasn't like the Aston Villa performance, but it was definitely there. And they did their defensive work. And that's all you really, if you can get 60 minutes out of Lacazette, you've gotten enough. Like the guy, he's really just tuckered out at 60 minutes, isn't he? But I think he had a good game. And I just want to touch on Odegaard really quick as well, because I do think he's a winner in this game slightly. He's still, I don't think, did enough to, in the next game, I would be bringing him in. But I thought he kept possession when we really needed him to. And he gave us control after that little spell of time where Leicester was kind of battering us. And what did you think about Odegaard when he came in? Do you think he gave us that little bit of control that we missed early on in that half?
I think it's the perfect substitution to make if you're going to bring Lacazette off. But I do think he was a bit sloppy in possession, as much as he helped us control it. Clearly, there's a bit of off form here. I don't think it's a quality thing. I don't think it's something which I'm not nervous about it. I'm just like, look, he's going to work his way through it. He's going to be put on the bench. He's going to be working on this in training. We've clearly seen it that Arteta is trying to get the best out of his players. They'll come back rejuvenated and a lot better than what we've seen. It's just a bit of off form. I don't know why he would have shot his confidence, because I don't even know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know whether he's just a bit tired or what it is, because
he's coming off of an injury.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a weird one, but I do think he played better than I thought he would when he came on. I was like, I don't know if I'd bring Odegaard in just because of the way he's been playing, especially to bring control into this game. But I thought he's initiating press again, which is what we'd like to see. We knew this anyway. He gave us the control we needed. Yes, he gave the ball away once or twice, which I didn't want to see. But as an attacking midfielder, as a number 10, it's in your nature to try things and try and break the team down. And that's just what he did. And unfortunately, the consequences of that is losing the ball once or twice. But yeah, no, I think he was good. I think obviously not worthy of a start yet. But yeah, definitely showing signs of coming back in, and that player that's going to control games for us.
Did you want to add anything on Odie?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree that he did help us keep possession. He did, not necessarily more make us more attacking, but he did sort of take the fizz out of the endless attacks that Leicester kept doing, and that's basically what we needed to see the game through, because I was getting, and even with him they still kept coming at us, but I think he did enough to contribute to us keeping a clean sheet, and I'm pleased about that, really.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Like, I think Tony says it best. It's strange because Odegaard was meh, but his introduction completely rejuvenated the team, which is, it's true. Like,
spot on.
He wasn't like amazing, but he did something, so so I'm reluctant to do any losers, because I don't think, I think if you wanted to choose somebody, you could probably say Tierney, because Nuno had another good performance. Leno, they were showing him every single time. Like Ramsdale had a good save, they would show Leno, and I'm just oh my goodness.
That Ramsdale save on the line, it ended Leno's first team career. Like, as soon as he did that, I just felt something move inside me that, like, Leno, you're not, just look out for injuries, bruv, if you want to play in the first team, because Ramsdale just solidified it now. That save solidified it. Like, all those fans that were out there saying, I don't know, like, he's been relegated with 3 different teams, blah, blah, blah.
They're holding those L's so hard. Like, they have to hold those for a while.
But all of a sudden, they're fanboys, though. You look on Twitter, all of a sudden, there's
because you have to be. You have to be now. If you had no like chill over the summer, and you were somebody who not only said, like, you thought Ramsdale was the worst goalkeeper that you've ever seen, he's been relegated, which is never really a reason why you shouldn't bring in a player. and then you went on and abused him after that, like to the point where they couldn't even do a welcome video for the kid. You got to hold that L. You really do. And I'm happy not to be on that team because I gave him a chance. I really did.
I
And
have
I
a
just
close
love the
friend.
guy.
Yeah, no, he's got you saw at the end of the game what he did when he gave his top. He even gave his damn boots away to a kid. So
That's
he's
so
just
cool.
different level, different love. But I actually remember going for lunch with a close friend of mine, and I asked him about it. And this guy is a cool dude, and like he was like Ramsdale shit, and I
See,
was
yeah.
like, what? So
Yeah.
now I'm coming for him every time. I'm not going to mention his name, but he knows who he is if he watches this. I'm coming for him every time now.
I love it. So I think this could be an interesting one. Madison.
Yeah.
Um, I was kind of like, if Odegaard had been playing better, I would have liked to see the Madison Odegaard derby, just because those are the two attacking mids that we were in for over the
Yeah, we didn't
summer.
get to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really get to see
Yeah.
that. We did get to see the Sambi Sumari one, which is good. But I do think Madison is going through a tough time, and he was going up in form, and we kind of nullified him today. If he would have gotten that goal, it would have maybe seemed different, but it was off of a free kick. But, you know, they wanted like 70 million for him. And although I do rate him so highly as a player, he's not looking like a 70 to 80 million dollar attacking midfielder. You know who is though? ESR. And
Mm.
even if it's not Odegaard, I think the combination of Odegaard and ESR might be better for us than Madison. And so they can keep him as far as I'm concerned. I do think we need to be a little bit, just chill out with he's the shittiest player in the world, because we know he's not. He's going through a tough time. But yeah, it looks like not spending 70 million on him right now looks like we did something great. We avoided something, but he didn't look amazing today. I didn't feel like we missed out on anything,
It's a,
Ndidi ducked out of the party, Ndidi derby today.
yeah.
And he didn't complete the El Neni Xhaka one last season either. So yeah, I feel good about this. Leicester is a team that they like to really say has done everything right in terms of recruitment and stuff like that. I think our recruitment has looked good against them.
Yeah, no,
They,
I was
they
gonna
said that they were the better squad, they were better run, they're this, they're that. Yeah, hold that one, you dickheads, you bunch of. Yeah, now what? Now talk, innit? You got pumped 3-1 last season, you were better run, and we were shit last season, and now you got beat 2-0 like your home. I told you, we're coming here to cook these men at their own ground, We're getting our waveform right, and this is
go
the
on,
thing here.
souls.
We're cooking them. Do you know what? Narratives are beaten. Do you know what? This is all I asked Arteta to do. Break the narrative, break the patterns. We went and pammed Aston Villa. Now we pammed Leicester and we pammed Spurs. And I've said it, we just marinated Spurs. Yeah, we're going to go cook them at their own toilet bowl. Yeah, and flush them down the toilet because of food poisoning and shit. Bro, no, this is the thing, yeah. Like, I'm loving it. I don't care now. I'm loving it. I'm riding the wave as long as I can. That's 9 games in all competitions, unbeaten. We've conceded, what's that now? 4 goals or something, 5 goals in all competitions, 11 clean sheets. Mate, bring it.
Here,
That's
souls.
definitely the
Here.
energy that we definitely needed.
And totally. And you gotta love the clean sheet, but even more so the fact that Vardy was anonymous. He was anonymous
Yeah,
that
he
game.
What did
wasn't.
he play? I forgot about that.
That's what I mean. And this is a guy that normally does a number on us, and he was anonymous.
Yes, that is true. He usually scores against us. He didn't today, and I think forwards have found it very difficult to play against this backs too, like in White and Gabrielle. They're good. I want to chill. I don't want to go too far, because there's always a sketchy performance around the corner, but they made Ings and Ollie Watkins look like absolutely nothing. They pretty much they stopped Iheanacho from doing absolutely anything. He had to be subbed out. Patson Daka didn't do anything either. I was scared for him to come onto the pitch. And Vardy didn't score against us. So I'm a happy girl. Like
It
I
was a
can't
good day.
complain. I can't
It was a good
complain,
day.
but yeah, I don't think there's very many losers today. And just the last winner is definitely Mikel Arteta. Like, as much as he can piss me off with some of his tactics and galaxy braining things, and he was right with the substitutions today. He picked the same lineup and didn't overthink it. Sometimes he overthinks things. He didn't do it. He subbed Lacazette off when he needed to. He responded to Brendan Rodgers' tactics. And as much as people make fun of Brendan Rodgers, he is not a shitty coach. And the changes that he made were good. And Arteta responded, and got to give him credit where credit is due. He did a good job away from at Leicester.
Do you know what the funny thing is? They brought in attacking substitutions, and we dominated the attack more than they did.
We're deleting these clubs.
Man.
I feel like you need to put that on a T-shirt or something.
Yeah, man.
We're deleting their clubs.
I'm deleting them from existence. Yeah, Arteta's coming to spam these guys, and just smack their managers in the head, give them a wake-up call and go, I am here. I might not be as experienced. You know that like new manager who everyone doubts and then gets that regional manager's award? That's what Arteta's coming for. He's coming for manager of the season. Do you know what? Credit to him. He turned it around. I started to get doubts with him, and I was like, why is he doing these stupid things? We've not been losing. The mentality is good. Aubameyang smiling. I told you that's the key to victory, is if Aubameyang is smiling. His teeth are out. He just needs to go get them white until we can see them even more bright. Yeah? But we're back. No, we're not back yet because we need to be title challenging before we're really back. But top 4 is definitely on.
The one thing
top
I do
four.
want to say...
Wow. Okay.
It's back on. I'm not saying we are getting top 4. I'm just saying it's on.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's sorry, just go for it.
No, go ahead. Say what you want to say about top 4.
No, it's just all I wanted to say is top 4. Let's not do it to ourselves.
Yeah. For me, I'm just happy that where are we now? We're 5th, aren't we? Are we not 5th?
We're 5th at the moment, yeah.
We're 5th at the moment. So here, that's good. And we have Sunderland in the cup. And we need to fucking batter them. Excuse my language, but their coach was talking shit. And I was like, Sunderland? Like, okay. So that's a good draw for us as well. I hate him. So, yeah. So good draw, in the cup. We should go to the next round, hopefully, on that one. I can't see us losing to Sunderland. We got past the Leicester test. We got past the Aston Villa test. We have Watford next on our next game. Could we make it 3 in a row? 3 big wins in a row?
I'm at that game. They better make it 3. Otherwise, I'm getting on that pitch and smacking them one. It's my first ever game at the Emirates. I'm not letting them lose.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I just feel like we are still where we are as Arsenal. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a point from that game. It just never but this team still don't get, once you start opening up yourself to belief with this team, they come back and say, no, like we are still a work in progress. So with the Watford game, I'm kind of, I'll probably be more ecstatic about that game than this game, only because that game is obviously after this game and we've got this result. And if we're able to get that result as well, that shows me real consistency. If we're able to get 3 points from Watford after 3 points from Leicester away, for me, that is like now we're starting to get some real momentum behind us. And I don't care what happens at Liverpool. I might not even watch that game. I don't care.
This made up for the Brentford loss, because I had counted this one as, I thought we would drop points against Aston Villa and Leicester.
Yeah.
So we've kind of made that up. So the Liverpool one is one of those where if you had looked at the, our games before, and we'll get there when we get there, but hopefully we beat Watford. Good draw. We won our game. We're good. So, now to see what's going to happen in the Spurs and Manchester United match. Very excited for that. And we'll see you guys on the next one. We'll be back on Monday for post-match and all of that great and wonderful stuff. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the win. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.